Hi, I'm Ken Brown, CEO of Destiny Global, and welcome to this edition of Success Tips. This is a bi-weekly teaching that the trainers here at Destiny Global, we commit to you to help you keep growing and stay on your path to success. And this week I'm talking about something that is, I kind of laugh at a little bit because Jen Horling, our creative marketing director, is always coming up with neat titles. She called it the funnel of favor. And, you know, it's a question that's been asked, Ken, how do you gain favor? How do you gain favor from God? How do you gain favor in the workplace? How do you gain favor at home? And I want to give you some universal tips, 3 things, very specific, tangible things that you can do to gain favor. And in fact, if you do these 3 things and you do them well, you will gain favor and you'll probably get a raise. You're going to find yourself, your love life is going to increase. A lot of things are going to increase in your life if you listen to these 3 things. You will find favor, okay? Point number 1, listen. Listen. If you're not listening to someone, they're not going to feel valued. They're not going to feel heard, okay? Especially as men, we often do this. We actually listen to respond. I want you to start listening to hear the person tell you what's on their heart, what's on their mind, what they're trying to communicate, okay? At your place of work, that could be instruction, right? They're asking you to do a specific job, to get something done that's going to help the company move forward. Or at home, it's going to be your wife talking to you about something, or your spouse talking to you about something, right? So it's really getting in tune with the person that you're connecting with. Who are you seeking favor from? You need to hear them. You need to know what they're asking. You need to know what they want, what their desires are. You're going to get to do that by listening, right? We practice something form here that's taught at every First Steps. If you don't know what that is, you need to get yourself First Steps. But form is a process in which we get to know somewhere. We start off with really getting to understand things about their family, their occupation, their relationships, as well as the message that they have, right? That's where we get to tell them something, right, about ourselves. But when you back up for just a moment, listening is something that you can do actively. You can participate. So when someone's talking to you, you can actually say, this is what I heard. You can give it back to them, called active listening. Dr. April Brown, my wife, beloved wife, who is also the executive vice president of coaching here at the company, she really does this very well. So I have a great example at home to learn from. She will literally just sit and look me in the eye, not be distracted on the phone or anything else, and just, as I'm telling her something, absorb it. And then she'll say back to me what I've said. It's a great way to make sure that you've heard what someone is communicating to you. It also makes someone feel very valued, by the way, when you see someone doing that. Point number 2, edification. Now, this isn't just phony, baloney words that you're saying just to blow smoke of someone's skirt or of someone's pants leg, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. It's actually, as you're listening and as you watch someone do a good job, that you're privately telling them, not in the public settings, right? Because if you're doing that in the workplace and you're constantly talking positive about to your boss in front of other people, you're gonna get ridiculed, by the way. And that's really not the purpose of it. You want to do it not to gain attention, but to actually let that person know that they did something good, that set them apart, that made them unique, and you valued that. So you want to be sure that you're edifying the person, whether it's your spouse, it's your coworker, whomever you're seeking to gain favor. And by the way, what I will tell you is when you start practicing these things, it's kind of my secret sauce, by the way. When you start practicing these things with everyone, you start gaining a broader range of favor than just the person that you were really seeking to gain favor with. You start gaining it from a lot of other people because you're listening better. You're paying attention to what they're doing. And the edification piece is so important. And Carmen O'Quinn teaches about this at First Steps as well. But if you haven't heard it, I encourage you to get yourself to First Steps and make sure that you listen to this section on edification because it literally transforms the workplace. We worked it on in our culture here at Destiny Global to really focus on what people do well and strengthen their strengths. Because when we do that, it starts really separating them till we know what their real calling is, where they're really gifted at, and they want to do better constantly. And that's a constant striving in our workplace is to do something better than we did before, because nothing stands still. Technology changes, the way in which you're actually viewing this. If you go back several years ago, you weren't watching us on your phone. In fact, you weren't watching it at all unless it was live in person. Now you can see it through multiple channels and social media outlets, really worldwide at any given time. You can just go on and look at it anywhere, anytime. The 5, when, where, why, how, all the things that you can think of you want to get, you can go get it and access it instantly. Things change. Things change. Why is that important? Because as you're edifying someone, you're encouraging their strength to get better and better and better at something. And when you do that, that person that you're edifying is going to want to be around you. Why? Because you're an encourager. Edification is encouraging. It's you paying attention to what someone is doing and doing it well and telling them. Okay? Point number 3, consistency. Consistency in what you're doing. Whether your job, whether you're doing your lawn, whether you're taking out the trash. And by the way, that is something that goes with consistency is commitment. So your commitment to something is going to show up because you're consistently doing it well. By the way, if you're consistently listening, edifying, and consistently doing your job well, you are setting yourself up for promotion, friend. You are setting yourself up for success in every way possible. So when you think about how am I going to gain favor? What is this funnel of favor that Jen Horling was talking about? Put yourself in the funnel. Get in the funnel so you can start winning. Here's how you're going to do it. You're going to listen. You're going to edify. You're going to keep your commitment. You're going to be consistently keeping your commitments. Your deadlines at work, you're going to nail them. You're going to stay focused. You're going to get those things done on time and on budget. At home, you're going to take out the trash. You're going to do what it is. I'm talking mainly to guys here because women can typically keep commitments unless they're overwhelmed. And by the way, as you keep your commitments, you're also helping your spouse keep theirs because you're taking something off their plate they don't have to mentally worry about. So think about it for a minute. If you're a wife, you're a mom, keep your commitments to your children. Dads, keep your commitment to your children. Kids, keep your commitments to your coaches, to your parents. Most importantly, we all need to keep our commitment to the creator of the universe. And the greatest book ever written, in my perspective, it tells us that as a man sets his path, that God directs his steps. So as you're doing that, it's literally thinking through the next step you're going to take. It means that you're being intentional. So I want to challenge you to be intentional. I want to challenge you to be intentional in listening. I want to challenge you to be intentional in edifying. And I want to challenge you to be consistent in what you do, whatever that may be. Because these things will set you up for success in every area of your life. So thank you for joining this edition of Success Tips. I know this is a brief section, but it is powerful. And if you implement these things, I actually want to hear. I actually want to hear how you're doing. When you see me, I want you to tell me. Or you can go on our Facebook page and give me a response. Ken, I watched this episode, and I am so fired up about this. This is what I'm doing. Because, guys, if you're falling off on any one of these things, you're not going to gain favor. You will eventually, it will fade. It'll be a short-lived favor. You might do something. And in fact, it's kind of like a football player. Football player does something great and scores a touchdown. The next game, they don't do anything. The next game, they don't do anything because they're not consistent. Guess what? They're no longer going to be on the front page of the newspaper. In fact, you won't even find them. And if you do find them, it won't be good things said because you start setting an expectation of what's going to happen. When you miss expectations, it's the opposite of favor. So keep your commitments. I ask that you do one thing for me, and that is this, is that you tell other people about Success Tips. We pour into this and we make sure that we're giving you something of value every other week through these episodes to really help you propel your success. Just little tidbits that will take you from where you're at to where you want to be. So thank you for joining. Thank you for giving me your time, attention, and I look forward to seeing you soon.